Happy New Year! Welcome to the Thursday edition of Terrible Warriors. Ready to hear a story? Derek the Bard and his Edmonton crew convene once again to travel through the strange. The estate agents have translated to Rook, where they must hunt down the villainous Professor Moriarty. However, between espionage, serpentine oracles, killer biobots, and a mysterious dish called Pang, they may just be in over their heads. And these agents, freshly translated into a new body, they are your terrible warriors.
And we return to the adventures of our terrible estate agents as they travel across the dark matter network of the strange, seeking out the villainous Professor James Moriarty. So let's just recap what happened in the last game. Some highlights. We were introduced to the power of the ladle song.
Ladle.
Will accidentally diagnosed a mafia thug with a terminal goiter problem.
Yep.
Shane shot some things.
Yeah.
Also got shot.
That's my thing.
And got shot.
Yeah. I told you shoot like a girl and you shot better. You would know. Oh, yeah.
And Cam, you did stuff.
I did cam things, yeah.
You did Cam things. Cam was Cam.
Cammed around.
I will.
Being the closest to being a legitimate detective.
It's true. he actually.
Hey, that hot sauce is going to really pay off.
I suppose the clusterfuck that's on the other end of the table here.
Yeah, it's like we have these two characters who are complete comic relief, and these two characters who are actually serious. And since we're actually getting back into this, why don't you remind people who you're playing? So read your name, and then maybe just read what it says for your Earth stuff.
I'm playing Dr. Ignatz Fritz. And Dr. Fritz is, he's been through a lot of stuff, man. Started off as like a really sort of successful doctor, but then he encountered some things that sort of broke his mind and started making him look for alternative solutions.
I more meant what it said on the Earth column of your sheet
Oh,
up there.
that one. Well, okay, let's be specific with rules then. Dr. Ignatz Fritz, on Earth, he's a strange paradox who practices medicine, which is a slight mod of the would rather be reading focus.
Yeah.
For today, I'll be playing Caster Cage, and I am a lucky spinner who entertains. I'll be playing Detective Richter McCree, who on Earth is a tough vector who is licensed to carry.
Because it's high noon.
Oh, you would.
I had to get that out of the way now. It's okay. You'll just end up on the Overwatch Earth, and we'll just go from there.
Side note, a friend of mine on Facebook actually asked for a birthday shout-out from Matthew Mercer.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But we can't sing the happy birthday song because that's copyright.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't that lapse? Let's not find out.
Let's not find out. You know what's the worst way to find out that something is still copyright that you thought wasn't?
Litigation?
Yeah, a lawsuit.
My good friend, the cease and desist letter.
I'll throw him on the stack. Anyways.
I am playing Trent Williams, a poker-faced spinner who negotiates matters of life and death.
Of course, they're not on Earth now because they discovered the villainous Professor James Moriarty, originally a resident of the recursion of 221B Baker Street, has escaped into the multiverse and is committing crimes, and they've been tasked with finding him, which has taken them to Rook, the strange little floating recursion of horrible biotech, cyberpunk, biopunk weirdness. And because they've entered a new recursion, because they have translated into it, their foci have changed. What's your new focus, Will?
Dr. Fritz is now a strange paradox who aspires to be post-human.
I'm a lucky spinner who resides in Silicon.
I thought it was a completely different thing when I wrote it out, and then I realized afterwards the horrible thing that I'd done.
I am essentially Mike the TV!
As Wes just sees if he can peak the audio levels on this.
Maybe in post I'll add like the echo. I really don't know which one to be mad at, so I'll just move on.
Just move on with life, Shane. It's the easiest thing to do.
In Rook, I am a tough vector who adapts to any environment, which basically means I am even tougher now.
It's true.
Yeah. I've kind of figured out what my character looks like, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, Cam?
Alright, and in Rook, I am a poker face spinner who controls nano machines.
Cool.
Yep.
I control the plot device of most sci-fi.
Or at least most Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The nanites are doing something. What? I don't know, but they're doing something. They're doing plot things.
Thanks, Snake. Go away now.
You'll take the eye patch off.
This takes the eye patch off. Underneath is another eye patch.
It's nice to know the difference between David Hayter and Keith Sutherland is an eye patch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, yes.
No.
Yeah, because I get... Well, anyway, we're getting drastically off track. What this also means, however, is that their rules have changed a bit. They've gained new abilities, and they've leveled up between games. You have now reached Tier 2. So I took the liberty of buying things on your sheet for you without even asking.
Thanks, friend.
Thanks, man. You always got our back.
Well, it is kind of Christmas time.
Yeah, well...
Kind of works. Is this why I have 12 ranks basket weaving?
That being said,
yes, it is.
That being said, if I wasn't running late, I would have stopped by EB Games because they actually have a Christmas sweater that's like Fallout, and it says "Season's Greetings from Vault Tech."
I don't want to be wished season's greetings for Vault Tech. I realize that the apocalypse is on its way, but Vault Tech does horrible things to people.
They get you in the Christmas spirit by freezing you for 200 years.
Yeah, and then you probably die horribly.
Rocking around.
Or you watch your wife die.
Nuclear reactor all the day.
Did you just make that up?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
Improv.
The 404s indeed.
Doing it live.
Off track again.
We are off track. You have all entered Rook. Specifically, you've entered the city of Harmonious. Harmonious looks like a biopunk version of Hong Kong. Except that it's on a floating platform about 2 miles above the surface of Rook itself. And the people walking around it are... Okay, take something like Deus Ex, where everyone's got their cyberware. Mm-hmm. Except now it's crazy biomechanical crap.
Awesome.
Where it's like there's a woman walking down the street who has replaced her entire face with just feelers. Other than that, though, she's just wearing a dress, strolling down the street. People fly overhead with wings attached to their backs, or like hanging on tethers hooked into their flesh from weird little like spore pods.
Cool.
So in other words, it's Fear and Loathing in Blade Runner.
Yes, let's go with that.
That's a good.
It's a bad drug trip.
Or a good drug trip, depending on where you're from.
Somewhere down the street, you see someone shouts, "Stop, police!" Except you realize after a moment they're shouting in Rookian, and suddenly you can understand Rookian.
Awesome.
As information about this recursion starts to flood into your mind. And as they're running away, some random guy walking down the street turns into an 8-foot-tall biomechanical construct. Like, just plates and armor fold out of his flesh. His legs bend backwards. He takes 3 running steps, jumps, lands in front of the thief, smacks him in the face, and hands the bag full of swimming eyeballs back to the proprietor of the shop. Picks the thief up by the scruff of his neck, which actually turns out to have a handy handhold underneath the spine, and carries him off.
I feel like this is the start of a Rick and Morty episode.
Rook has a certain Rick and Morty feel to it.
Yeah.
Rook and Morty.
Yeah.
Rook and Morty!
Rude
Yeah.
Morty.
Wow. I'm going to fist bump on that one. I don't have a pool of chips in the center of the table that I can just throw extra points into for you guys, though. But
Oh, well.
If you gave me a bag of chips, I've almost eaten them all already.
it's true, but we're not going to do free shout-outs to Frito-Lays, however,
No, we're
because
not.
they're not promoting us.
No.
Although, like, they could.
You know who is promoting us, though? Our glorious patrons!
Exactly, and you can subscribe to us at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. We used all your names in the Star Wars and Suicide Squad games, so, oops.
We need more names.
We need more patrons so we can exploit you.
We need more names so that Derek doesn't have to make up NPC names. What do you guys look like now that you've changed? Because as you translate into this reality, your appearance alters to fit it. What happens when you translate is, unlike sliders where you just sort of appear, when you translate, reality itself makes a little bubble for you. It makes a whole new form to hold your consciousness in. That works for that reality.
Effectively, we adapt to the environment.
Yes,
Which
exactly.
really applies to my character, so
Yeah.
you guys mind if I go first? Because
Please do.
I'm
Go
fairly
ahead.
certain my character is the most normal looking in this respect. Basically, as far as like physical appearance, I'm thinking like kind of like Marv from Sin City, in that his skin is kind of like rough and a little bit craggly looking, but it looks like he can really take some punishment if he needs to.
And you become more muscular and more like built like rock.
Right. And as far as clothing, I'm thinking like it basically says I adapt to any environment, so I'm thinking something that's like multi-purpose. The first thing that comes to my head is basically the Ranger outfit from Fallout New Vegas. Except as far as the armor goes, it's not like full-blown armor. It's more like, since I really have just like light armor, it's more like a bulletproof vest.
Well, no, that armor is actually part of you. Is that because you're in Rook, any additional special adaptations that you have are actually part of your physical form now.
Okay, well, I also have light armor in my gear, is what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like the armor,
that gear doesn't necessarily translate with you, though. Some of your gear does, some of your gear doesn't.
Okay. Well, this is actually under my adapt sending it.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, oh, yes, I completely changed your gear sets. Yes, okay, never mind. I'm dumb. It shows that I created these sheets like 6 months ago.
So more or less I'm wearing like Wanderer outfits with a long coat and like a Kevlar vest underneath. Or whatever the equivalent in Rook is to Kevlar.
It's like spun worm silk sort of thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You don't want to know what most of the stuff in Rook is, because most of it literally does come out of colossal worm heinies.
Yeah, I learned that about one bag of
like even
eyeballs
IKEA.
Yeah.
You can still get a Billy bookcase. It just gets pooped out by a 20-foot long worm.
Yeah, but the books you're holding in it are also kind of alive.
Oh, 100%.
If you've ever actually read a Warren Ellis comic called Lazarus Churchyard, it has a book that's alive. It's a living computer.
Ooh.
And the book just has multiple tentacles that come out of it, and it opens up like like that monster book in the Harry Potter movies.
Sweet.
And it talks, and later on it runs a bar.
I would drink there.
I was about to ask, is it typically carried around by a blonde preteen who often helps her uncle solve mysteries?
No. It is very specifically a gigantic foul-mouthed talking book that runs a bar in the post-apocalyptic future.
I suppose even the Necronomicon needs a day job.
Right?
Yeah. And then Will.
So Dr. Fritz, his translation, he was already kind of like a thin, sort of spidery, like wan-looking dude. Here he seems a little bit more comfortable in his body. He translated real well. His features aren't quite so tight and drawn. He doesn't look as frazzled. His facial features are a little bit different, though. As if his bone structure has been sort of tweaked subtly here and there. And you can see that, like, all throughout his skin, sort of just beneath the surface of it, there's sort of faint, sort of like almost circuitry. But no, maybe they are veins. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where the machine parts end and where he begins.
Well, yeah, because you're not post-human yet.
But he aspires.
But you are aspiring to be the next stage of human evolution.
Exactly. So it's obvious that he's started to mod himself in a lot of different ways. They're subtle so far. None of the wings and jetpacks that everybody else necessarily has.
Well, you wouldn't actually necessarily get those. Those are actually external devices, because your post-human enhancements are all internal.
Exactly. His is all little things inside him getting him ready for this transcendence that he's been aspiring to.
Because you're already telekinetic.
Exactly. And yeah, I think he scorns the earth as much as possible.
Yeah.
He floats a little bit. He's wearing like a sort of tight, like white and silver sort of like bodysuit. The sort of thing that'd be like Federation standard in a rich part of some part of the Federation that still has rich people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go over to Cam. I'm saving you for last, Wes. You're the comedic bookend to all of this.
Oh, yeah. That's fine.
I imagine Trent being a lot more weaselly, and you can tell he's got a lot of augmentations on like his senses.
Okay.
And he also, I imagine, has kind of wiry veins to shoot out nanomachines, kind of like how in Bioshock you shoot out those bees out of your hand.
Well, you've got like enlarged pores across your body. which is fine. It's Rook. There are no standards of beauty or appearance.
Nice.
And then there's Wes.
Well, before we get to Wes, I just have to ask, and I call back to the first session of the game, do either Will or Cam have an iPod dock in their calf?
No, but you do have docks for your umbilical to attach yourself to something called the All Song, which I will explain shortly.
Okay, let's get
And
to
then
Wes
there's
now.
Wes.
Caster Cage really didn't translate that well. He really didn't. Or maybe he did. I'm not entirely sure. So I am now a lucky spinner who resides in Silicon. My mind is actually a silicon chip inside a small floating droid. So think of something about the size of like a football with like 2 arms.
No, you don't even have arms on it.
No, I don't even have arms? Okay.
You have a flashlight.
Yeah.
Literally, one of your powers is a flashlight.
He skates!
Well, I'm like,
Oh my god, he is skins!
yeah, I'm like Skeets, which is like Booster Gold's companion, meets Talkie the Toaster from Red Dwarf.
Nice.
Would you like any toast? No, I don't want any toast.
At a later level, you could become Rimmer as you project holograms.
Right? Yeah, so, yeah, don't expect me to do any combat.
Yeah, I just imagined like a talking Roomba or something.
Yes, I'm sorry, Wes.
It's all good.
I'm just flashing back to the Booster Gold episode of Justice League Unlimited. Sir, you saved those insects! Yay!
If you thought my character was annoying before,
Now I gotta crack the book open for you.
Derek, I never actually used it in the first session, but does my character still have a taser?
No, you have your Rukian gear,
Okay.
which
light armor, 1 weapon, 1 bag light, tools, bag light.
yeah, I'm not even sure how you get equipment as somebody who resides in Silicon, but apparently you do.
I have 80 bits.
You,
That's it.
yeah, that's oh yeah, you have money.
Yeah, I would assume bits is money in Rook.
Yes. Okay. What recursors know about Rook? Because as you translate in, the world and your translation also fill in information in your mind. You don't just come into it blind. Sometimes you might, but not for Rook. Rook is very well known. It's very easy to translate into.
That's just when things get really fun, and I look at Wes and I'm just like, push the button on your grenade, push the button on your grenade, push the button on your grenade.
With what thumbs?
Give me the grenade, I will push the button.
So, Rook operates under the law of mad science, and it is a place of extreme biotech and body modification. What this means is that the rules of science here, anything goes. So long as it can be described with science, you can get away with almost anything. But it does still have to have a grounding in some form of science.
So basically Dr. Insanoville.
Yeah, but maybe also a bit more like Dr. Dinosaurville.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Dr. Dinosaur.
Crystals! Crystals, bloody mammals! Rook is hidden in Earth's shadow since before humanity
This
evolves.
occurred to me. I know a lot of mad scientists, but anyway.
And it comes from another place in the universe, apparently having fled an unremembered disaster. Feuding factions rule Rook. A faction is like a religion, corporation, and a governing body rolled into one. The true code is the ancient knowledge of Rook, much of which is lost, though many still cleave to it and attempt to rediscover it. The All Song is the communal web of knowledge, insight, and inspiration that many in Rook rely on, though many believe that reliance comes at the expense of the true code. The All Song is basically your standard cyberpunk internet/matrix. If you have an umbilical on your sheet, it means that you can actually use it to connect into the All Song through ports. What these All Song ports look like is generally they're like trees and weird fungal growths. And actually, just as you're watching, some guy on the street walks over to just this weird fungus growing up a wall, takes this weird biotech bit of tubing, shoves it into the back of his neck, shoves the other end into the wall, and just sort of goes limp.
So I do have a question. One of my abilities is I can interface with technology. Is that how I can access that?
Yes, you can access the All Song more or less anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
But if
I'm
you,
thinking of the David Cronenberg movie Existence.
it is 100% existence.
Yeah.
I'm making a chicken gun.
The movie that apparently thinks gamers are so gaga for games that will actually mutilate their own bodies. Or let Willem Dafoe mutilate their bodies.
I mean, to be fair, I'd let Willem Dafoe mutilate my body straight up. Game or no game.
Death to the demon, Esselegger Galler. Death to Existence! And of course, death to the demon, Ted Peichel. Yes, all song outlets.
Perhaps Jude Law's greatest Oscar moments. Existence is pause. Boom.
I love that. Yeah, Shane and I were talking about that at a convention. We want to have a flash mob moment where you, like 30 people literally walking in the middle of a convention, just sort of grouped together. One of them screams, "Existence is pause," and then everybody drops.
First aiders would go out of their minds.
Oh yeah, it would be a terrible thing to do. So you are in Rook now. What you gonna do?
Okay.
Well, we need to figure out where Moriarty went. And I'm very curious about some of the evidence we gathered back on Earth that we couldn't, decipher. I remember there was some files that seemed to be in a language we couldn't figure out.
Indeed there were.
And I'm wondering, now that we've just learned this new language, whether this might help us out. And one of my good friends is now a robot.
What? Just suddenly robot.
That can apparently interface with technology.
Well, you can talk normally if you want.
Nope, I don't.
When Caster talks like a robot, it deliberately sounds like a dude trying to talk like a robot.
Other robots are like, dude, why do you gotta be like that? Perpetuating stereotypes? It's not cool.
It's trendy.
Roboface?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just like to think that as the dust settles on the translation, Richter is just kind of looking around, taking this all in, kind of letting his mind focus into this new reality. He's just looking around, seeing all this bio-modded stuff. He's seeing the bag of floating eyeballs that somebody probably got from the Mystery Shack, and then he starts looking at Dr. Fritz. He looks at Trent. He's just kind of like, wow, this is really interesting, a really weird new world. And then he just looks over at Cage. He's just like, sorry.
No, you didn't quite peak the audio. You didn't quite get a Cassie spike, but
What are you laughing at there?
Don't make that a goal of mine.
You know what? I just flashed the flashlight directly in your eyes.
it's a really bright flashlight, dude. It's super bright.
Yeah.
Can I see your sheet for a
Fair
second?
enough.
I also have -5 might. But this character didn't have a whole lot of might to begin with.
You are, however, ignored in combat situations.
Yeah, and I have fairly substantial stealth in the modifier. Probably from the flashlight that I don't think I could turn off.
You have... No, you could turn it on and off. You have a very bright flashlight.
Nice.
Literally, that's what it says.
He's just kind of rubbing his eyes and still laughing his ass off.
So do we still have that? Did the hard drive translate?
Yes. It translated into a... Weirdly, it did translate, and it probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, and it looks not that different.
Well, it does look
If you
different.
crack it open, it's full of crabs, but
So having
It more or less... It looks almost like an oyster now.
nice.
But it's an oyster with lots of little weird ports in its shell.
oh, please
And
tell me that's what
it actually breathes.
Cool. But it makes a clockwork sound as it does it. You're like, oh, this is...
Please tell me the toilets here don't use the 3 seashells.
Well, obviously.
You don't know how to use the
Generations of nerds will be trying to figure that out long after we're dead.
Anyways, Caster, my friend,
By the way, you didn't say no.
can
I say no to
can
nothing.
you access the files on this now?
I'm willing to attempt to.
Okay, can you give me a... Let me see your sheet. Okay. Yeah, give me an intellect check. Do you want to spend any effort?
Yeah, I'll spend a point of effort.
Okay, so you spend 1 point of intellect, that adds to your 2 edge, and you get 1 level of effort, which will bring the difficulty down. Roll me a d20. See how you do.
14.
That'll do. Ooh. It was going to be difficulty 5, but you brought it down to difficulty 4. You are good. Yep, you open up this thing, and it's still encrypted, but it's encrypted in Rookian now, so you can at least kind of understand where the encryption starts.
Yeah.
We can start to crack it.
I think I may have error. Oh, it's a cryptid.
All right, but at least we made some progress there.
Yeah, you'll have to probably get like a keyboard port to help me to decode it. I think I've just defaulted to be this guy's personal laptop. Because I'm a talker, I'm not a computer hacker.
Yeah.
I don't even remember why I gave you that focus. I think I put it in as everybody got a joke option.
Yeah.
Because it's funny!
Yeah, it's Roger Rabbit rules.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
That'd be pretty great.
This wouldn't be the first game where I've had no combat powers. I've done just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Now, incidentally, where in the city are we?
You're pretty much just inside the gates to Harmonious. You're in front of... It's just this huge Hong Kong-style street market.
Cool. And it's like behind us there's like some sort of like aero dock where like things are coming up from the surface.
Yeah. It's like a giant elevator port, but it's also got like airships that and various flyers that come in, and they're all weird biotech things. And as you look off into the distance, Rook is on the edge of the strange, and you can actually see the dark matter network outside of it, and it's this weird pattern of just these flashing, like nebula-like lights.
Dr. Fritz stares at it for just a little too long.
Yeah, it's kind of hypnotic if you stare at it for too long, and you can almost just feel the madness pulling at you. And if you look at the cover of the book, that's kind of what the Strange looks like. It's these just the fractals spinning off into themselves.
The sort of thing that like Google Deep Dream would come up with.
Everything in the Strange looks like Google Deep Dream.
Awesome. All right, so
There's a monster that literally just is Google Deep Dream.
that makes sense.
It's just a Google Deep Dream image. All you see, its picture is just fractals going into fractals.
Cool. Okay, so we need to find this Moriarty dude. We don't know what he translated as.
If he translated at all, there's ways to not translate.
That's true. He may maintain.
What was it called? An inopposite gate?
Inopposite gate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There is, in every part of the multiverse, there is one bar where you can always go to get information. It's seedy, it's scummy, and that's where all the scummy people hang out. Let's start there.
Yeah. See if they found anything
Okay.
weird.
How are you
On the way, maybe check the umbilical?
Yeah.
Yeah, check the Alsong?
Okay, how are you going to find that scummy bar?
I want to open a directory.
Okay, you want to go into the Allsong.
Yeah.
Okay, the Allsong is the LSD internet. It's not just... It is cyberpunk-style, super immersive VR internet, but it's like that internet then took drugs, and you took drugs, and your hallucinations are now having to fight it out to figure out who gets to be in control. And it's just this flood of information spiraling around you. And give me another intellect check.
That is a 9.
Just made it.
Okay.
So, in other words, Hunter S. Thompson is Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't stop here. This is Silicon Country.
Yeah, and you manage to pull up a directory, and it's all very organic, and it's very strange, and the information just kind of flows down in front of you, and you're looking for bars in the area. And you're looking for whatever the Rook version of Yelp is, probably the bar that has the least number of stars, that's right near the gates.
Yeah.
Where it has reviews like, "What? Not a local to Harmonious, came to visit, couldn't stand the place, it's just full of locals."
Nice.
Sure, you find one, but it's in a really shitty part of the area. Like this, you're definitely going to be entering into a more dangerous part of Harmonious.
Like literally the dark underbelly.
Not quite the dark underbelly. That's an entire district that a book spends about a chapter describing.
Nice.
Is just the Scar District. But yeah, you need to walk down some alleyways. You can't get there just by street.
Yeah. Sort of a Kowloon walled city sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's start making our way there. On the way, sort of Dr. Fritz just sort of floating along. It occurs to me that ultimately we're trying to find the source of this blue spiral dust, and I believe we've succeeded, but it's possible that it exists here too, and could also help lead us to, if not our prey, some of his associates.
We don't know what it translates as here. It could literally the blue spiral dust over there could literally be horse droppings here.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be.
Did I bring our samples with me?
The spiral... Well, no, because you get them into the estate. Yeah.
Yeah, they confiscated my bag.
Yeah.
If I may say, Ignis, this version really agrees with you. You seem much more
you give me a
together
roll?
than you did on her, if I may say.
Oh, no, thank you very much, my friend.
Okay.
I'd almost expect you to speak in a British accent and cook.
No time for that.
Shane, give me a roll.
Oh.
You guys are just... Keep talking.
I was more or less done. It was a cheap Final Fantasy 15 reference.
17. Oh my, okay, that actually got it. As you guys are walking down these alleyways, you're 100% sure that you're being followed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, duh.
We're
You're
looking
pretty
for
sure
trouble.
it's one guy, but every time you look at him, it seems like he steps into a doorway or steps into an alleyway or something, and you can't get a good look at him.
Okay.
Whoever's tail, he definitely has training, whoever he is.
Yeah.
But we know he's there.
You know that he's there. Nobody else seems to realize it. I had Cam roll where you guys are talking. He rolled a 2.
Busy looking at all the sites.
Yeah.
There are a lot of sites.
Yeah, you guys definitely have some tourist eyes going on.
Big time.
For when we're being followed. Easy marks.
Yeah.
Easy marks.
Yeah.
What
Like,
about their route?
That's exactly the kind of thinking that Richter would have. It's like, okay, we're new in town. This place is really, really interesting. Has a lot of interesting things to see, for good or ill. Probably someone's going to take advantage of us.
Do I have a Rook random encounter table?
We're exactly the kind of crew who would get suckered by a guy at a 3-card Monty table.
For sure.
You're the exact kind of group that would go to a 3-card Monty table.
That's what I said.
Matter of fact, I look for a 3-card Monty table.
There is no such thing as Rookie and 3-card Monty.
Probably would have tentacles and shit like that.
Yeah.
3-card tentacle Monty.
Oh wait, I do
If you pick
actually
the
have
wrong one,
a
You
percentile.
get to keep the tentacle. You don't want to know where it goes. I've seen my hentai. I know where this is going.
I didn't say anything about hentai. What? No. Just because you saw a tentacle monster in the book doesn't mean that there's actually going to be a tentacle monster.
But yeah, so we continue towards the bar.
Yep, and you are 100% sure at this point that you're being followed. And as you turn a corner, you come across, and you swear to God, they look like 3 gray aliens leaning against a dumpster, shooting up.
Amazing.
And they all look pretty much like that. They got big black eyes, they've got 3 fingers on each hand.
Big old skulls.
Yep, they're not wearing any clothes, they look totally genderless. And they've got some weird pulsing needle slug thing that they're sharing around as they basically just stab it into their shoulders.
This looks like a party. Wonder if perhaps I may have seen someone unusual come by.
Selling dust.
Indeed, perhaps selling something, or perhaps buying something.
All I can think is things did not go well for Cryptosporidium after they stopped making Destroy All Humans games.
Listen, after he got thrown out of the White House, Poxy stopped talking to him. I almost played Cryptosporidium in a game for Terrible Warriors years back. But I have to have worked on my Nicholson impression better.
But it's covered in nipples.
We've got 2 out of 3 branches of government still working with us, and that ain't bad.
Anyway, back on track.
Yes.
So, does our Rukian knowledge give us any heads up as to what these things are? Does that translate across as like,
Well,
oh, this is the bear of this world?
They
Beware.
yes, they're bears shooting up in an alleyway.
Hey man, it's the strange.
No, you're pretty sure they may actually be recursors in from another reality that just accommodate into Rook.
Great.
They might be things that just fell out of the strange.
Well, I'm feeling friendly, so Dr. Fritz sees some other sort of fellow people seeking transcendence, and he's going to say hi. Greetings, friends.
They're just kind of talking. They're definitely not talking in Rukian.
They don't speak Rukian.
Herman!
Yeah, for now.
Herman, how big?
Only a few. What are you selling?
Give bit.
You want me to give you mine?
Give bit.
In exchange for what?
They look at each other. Slug. Give bit.
What's it do?
Wait,
Slug.
Is it, not slug as in punch him, slug as in they
As in
will
the
give
needle
him a
slug.
slug.
Yeah, I'm sorry, radio can't see. It is one of them holds out
Yeah.
the weird needle slug thing.
I was a little
It does
suspicious
not
because-
look healthy.
I was
Does
a
it look
little
like it's still
suspicious
full of
because
fluid?
basically Derek was pointing his fist right towards me.
You can't really tell it's a slug with like a needle and things on it.
Yeah, some sort of proboscis stinger ovipositor or
Yeah,
something.
you're not even sure it's actually a drug. They may literally just have grabbed some insect and
we're
forcing
just
it
having fun
and
stabbing
forcing it to inject them with things.
Well, buying drugs from strangers has never not been Fritz's thing. I think that translates universally, so I'm going to spend some of my cash. Yeah, he'll assume it's a dime bag and give him 10 bits.
I feel like Dr. Fritz's translation has partly made him into Max Brand.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
By now, you'll have seen the Max Brand promo for Terrible Warriors.
Yes. Master Troy is upset that he can't shoot up anymore. He's a friggin' robot. By the way, that was my idea. I expect an executive producer credit.
Sure.
Nice.
Okay. Slug. And he takes the bits, and they start laughing at each other. And one of them's like, bit.
I'm going to go ahead and take that slug.
Slug. Bit. And they...
For the record, isn't Dr. Fritz the one in this group who would technically be able to go, you do not want to sell me death steaks, you need to
He doesn't have mind control powers yet, I don't think.
Yeah, doesn't have them yet.
Oh wait, is that your
I got
thing?
nano machines. I don't think I.
Oh, that's right. You have precognition, and you can heal people.
Exactly.
I forgot that I made you the healer of the group, too.
Oh god.
Healer and the precog, and now the telekinetic, but not mind control yet.
Oh.
And they start gambling off down the alleyway. There's just...
Okay, so
Also, for the listeners and for my own curiosity, what's a bit look like?
It looks like it's some kind of weird coinage. The book is not terribly specific.
Okay, I'm assuming that there's some diversity in them. Then I think the ones that I have are like.
I'm going to assume that they probably look like money and and exalted actually, where it's like little bars attached together, where the number of bars is like the number of
Is the
bits, and then at like 5 or 7 or some odd number, it stops and becomes like circles or squares or something.
Gotcha.
you can probably think about it in the same terms as Bitcoin, in that it's worth just as much on Earth.
Nothing until you find someone to buy it from you.
That said, I think I'm gonna try and get a hold of the guy who's been following us.
Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Well, basically, anytime we turn to notice him, he hides. So obviously, he doesn't want to be noticed. But we know he's there.
Yep.
So, could I just go up and confront him?
You can try. Give me a roll.
14.
Not enough. He sees you coming.
Oh, great.
And you see, you actually get a decent look at him now. He's wearing the Rukian equivalent of a trench coat, where it's like weird, semi-translucent, color shift, like dark-hued color shifting.
Some sort of like cuddle skin cloak.
Yeah, exactly. Not cloak. More, it almost does look like a trench coat.
Okay.
With some kind of hat equivalent over his face.
Okay.
And he sees you coming. And he turns to walk away.
Get him.
Do you want to chase him?
Hey, stop! I'm going to spend one intellect point, and while I'm talking, I completely hold his attention.
What are you doing to hold his attention? Is this just the stupid silicon thing is doing something stupid?
Oh, hit him with your very bright flashlight. This guy's hiding in shadows.
Give me a roll.
a panel opens up on him. And
I'm sorry, a 2 will not do it.
I was planning on like flying in front of him with my flashlight, going woo 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 woo.
No, you do fly. You are able to fly in front of him with your flashlight, but he brushes past you.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't hold him up.
I'm out of ideas.
Murder isn't working, and that's all we're good at.
You know, ladle aside, you're already more useful than you were on Earth, so fair enough.
Wow.
Well, I really have no.
Also, just for the listeners at home, please imagine whenever the thing flies around, it makes the Jetson sound.
Yep.
That's perfect. I think I killed Derek. I'm sorry.
And Wes Gunn as every cheesy robot ever.
I hope you all get Rookie and rabies.
We might.
It's like regular rabies, only you become 10 feet tall before you murder everyone.
Maybe we'll get Rookie and herpes, or as I like to call them, rookies.
Is anyone else doing something? Cam?
Sorry, you said Rookie and rabies makes us 10 feet tall and want to kill everyone?
Yeah, like regular rabies, only, more rabies. Cam?
Just back to those guys talking about their slug. It says here, if you hear another language, you can quickly acquire the language.
Which one is that? That's your Babel?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Everyone else is chasing after this guy. You're kind of listening to them as they're moving off down the alleyway. They're like, oh, stupid humans! The drug will kill them instantly! Yes, we have their bits now, and we will take all their other bits when they are dead! Humans are dumb! But you sold our slug! With more bits, we can buy more slugs!
They're just running off laughing maniacally. It's funny how dumb you are.
Yes! We will come back later.
For the record,
I want their eyeballs!
For the record,
You always eat the eyeballs and you always get indigestion afterwards. Human biology and ours do not mix. That is what we learned when our ship crashed here. I hate this stupid recursion. I want to go back to the world where we rule the Earth.
To be clear, I kind of marathon Gravity Falls over the weekend. That's why I'm referencing the hell out of it.
Dr. Fritz, may I see that slug?
Sure, man.
Okay, I'm just gonna put that in there.
You're just tucking that away.
I was curious to see what it did.
You don't want to know.
No, I literally do. What, do you speak?
Now they're giggling. First they will get the blood shits. Then their organs will melt. Then the slug will grow. Grow, slug, grow. They're obviously high as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, this is a total stoner, like, knock guys over for their money move.
So maybe it doesn't kill people.
Oh, no.
It probably does.
We need to weaponize the slug.
I think it already is weaponized, man. That was my plan.
This game rapidly went off the rails from what I wrote.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that for later, just in case.
What the hell are we even doing now? I don't
Okay,
even know anymore.
so our mysterious tail has disappeared.
Well, no, he's walking away.
Oh.
He hasn't disappeared. It's just Wes rolled a 2 to try and distract him, and he saw Shane coming.
Okay. Is he walking past a doorway, perhaps?
Why? What do you want to do?
I wanted to just telekinesis open the door just to block his path.
Not really. You could just telekinesis him.
Well, I've only got Mike 10. Well, I guess that's a pool of 10.
Yeah, that's your pool of 10.
Cool. Well, I'm just going to no, you don't touch the ground anymore. No friction for you.
Okay, I'm going to make you spend...
You lost your friction privileges.
2 might for that,
Great.
out of that pool of 10.
Most sciencey of us. I was remembering.
And then I'm going to need you to make a check with it.
Okay.
No,
Do you want to spend any effort
City
with
Blues.
it?
Just in case, I'll spend 1 extra.
Okay, so you're going to spend 1 more point, so you're down to 7.
Yeah.
When he uses his ability to.
And that's great because I rolled a 3,
Yeah.
so I take his hat.
Nope. You ruffle his clothing, and
Yeah.
he stops at that.
Why are you following us, man? All roads lead to the same place.
You Earthers are idiots.
Flash.
Well, then enlighten us, my friend.
If you keep doing that, I'm going to shoot you.
Derek Derek, I just have to ask, how many tiers until Will just starts going, experience tranquility?
I think like one.
I swear, if I don't hear at some point, you're well, that's like your opinion, man.
Oh, don't worry.
On the other hand, in one tier, Wes becomes Rimmer.
Nice.
Can
Record, Dudism is now a religion.
Oh, yeah.
just like flash him some bits?
Did you just want to try and bribe him for his time?
Yeah.
Give me an intellect roll. Do you want to spend any?
I will spend 1 edge.
Okay.
Cool. That's
I
going
almost
for...
thought of
Oh no, it fell under Will.
I got it.
We've only got the 1d20 on the table.
16.
Oh. Okay. Let's talk, but not here.
Okay, where do you have in mind?
He walks over to a door about 10 feet down, opens the door. Follow me.
That was convenient.
Awesome.
I'm gonna like
I
hold
remain-
my...
I remain cautious as we follow him.
Can I have that slug back?
Yeah, sure. I'll like
Thanks.
hand it to him.
Keep in mind, Will, you still have no idea what
Not a
the
clue.
aliens were
Not a
saying.
clue. No clue. He assumed it's poisonous anyways, but maybe it's a fun poison.
Maybe it's a fun poison. I'm sorry, I was actually wrong on the edge, so you're actually down to 5 on the TK pool, which is fine because you just banish the TK effect once you're done with it anyway.
Oh yeah.
It's got a really... The TK mechanic in this game is really weird.
Cool. Yeah, it's irrelevant because we can just do it.
And you
Sorry,
fall...
is anyone else thinking, in regards to that slug thing, is anyone else thinking of the memory worm from Doctor Who?
A little bit,
Yeah, a little bit.
or possibly the when
Like, obviously this thing is way more deadly than that.
But it could also just
the
be like
memory
the
worm sucks too.
nastiest street heroin, like...
It's a drug not made for human biology.
Yeah.
Debatably, most people on Rook may not even think it's a drug.
Yeah.
These guys may just be shooting up engine grease.
Yeah.
Do what you can with what
You don't know how the gray biology works.
Nope. Dr. Fritz just wants it because he's like, this fucks up somebody. We could use this.
And what you actually do is you walk through the kitchen of what almost looks like a Chinese restaurant.
Cool.
They've got... I'm actually really kind of just going to stick with the Hong Kong aesthetic. Mm-hmm. So they've got like big walks over
fire,
like plasma flames almost.
Oh, nice.
There's lots of... You don't recognize any of the vegetables or animals that they're dealing with in there. You can't even tell what's flora and what's fauna.
Yeah.
There are weird smells. Most of them don't even smell that good to you just because they're so alien.
Yeah, there's some sort of like anti-gravity saucepan going on, making sauce that only works in 0G.
Well, maybe.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
science. I'm just throwing bullshit.
I mean, they may or may not have a spice weasel.
Nice. Couple of hits.
They want to sit with your spice weasel. Bam! Oh, Elzar.
Do
Yeah.
we get a table?
Yeah, he just leads you through to a back room, like a private back dining room, and there's just a round table with stools. You notice that every table in the restaurant, all the chairs, they're all stools. Because you don't know what extra limbs people we're going to have in Rook.
No way to tell.
And there are people eating with their hands, people eating with chopsticks, people eating with weird utensils that don't make any sense, people just unfolding proboscises into things.
Yeah. Guys, put
Is anybody
sand
eating
in a
with
plate,
Venetian telekinetic chopsticks by chance?
What?
It's a reference to Red Dwarf. They had
I didn't see that one.
No, you didn't. No, that's too bad. That's where River got his hard light bee.
I did not see... Oh, okay. My Red Dwarf watching is actually a bit limited.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's a shame. That's a good show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Anyways, take up a seat.
He sits down. A waiter comes in. He makes some orders of dishes that you've never even heard of before. I'll take the fried halduck, and, we'll get 3 plates of the steamed cho, and let's get some of the boiled pang, etc., etc. And you're like, what the hell is any of this crap?
And I'll have a cold glass of water.
Waiter looks at you.
As well.
Fucking posthumans. Walks out.
I think
What? I just want the hydrogen.
I think at this point he'd be more like a post-human weeaboo.
Well, look, in any city there are crazy mystics who think they're better than everybody else. And to be fair, posthumans are like a challenge rating like 9 threat when you run into them. They're crazy.
Crazy mystics who think they're better than everyone else, huh?
Yeah.
Saith Galvar good Burrow.
Yes, Ed, what's your point?
So
I'm just saying there's a particular character in Heroes of the Storm who would laugh their ass off at Galvar.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
So who might you be, friend?
You can call me Toe.
Pleasure to meet you, Toe.
You're all from Earth, which means you're all recursors. Mm-hmm. You haven't tried to steal anything yet. You seem to be official. You have training, which means you probably all work for the estate, yes?
You have us at a disadvantage.
I'm employed by a group called the Quiet Cabal. We're friends of the estate, at least when our purposes cross paths. Why are estate agents, new estate agents, I'd guess, here in Rook?
We're investigating some substances that were being distributed back on Earth, and we have a suspect we followed here.
Moriarty.
Interesting.
Perhaps sharing of resources may be useful for both of our purposes.
Maybe. I think we may be able to come to an accord, a deal of assistance, but you will need to help us first.
I don't see why this has to necessarily be adversarial at all.
You're willing to... If you assist the Quiet Cabal, we would be happy to assist the estate in return. It's a reciprocal arrangement.
Of course, before we purchase anything, this isn't purchasing strange substances from someone in a back alley, right? I'd just be curious as to what sort of assistance you can offer. Do you know of who we seek?
He shrugs a little. He's not wearing a shirt underneath, and up his body are just these weird quasi-metallic ports that just kind of run all the way up his chest. The musculature of his chest is very odd. It's...
Oh my god, he escaped from the Matrix.
His face has absolutely no hair. He has no nose, just two slits. His skin is sort of a pale bronze. His eyes. I'm just stealing it because I saw I hate the idea of this movie, but I saw the trailer for the new Mummy the other day, where it's like her eyes. She has extra eyes inside of her eyes.
It's a cool look.
It's a cool look. It looks like it's going to be such a stupid movie, but
There's only one Mummy movie I care about. It's one with Brendan Fraser.
amen. Amen.
I was going to say, the Mummy and Abbott and Costello, guys. Come on.
Where are you taking him? To be hung. Apparently, he had a very good time.
But yeah, what sort of assistance
This
did you give
name
us?
is known to us, but nothing is free in Rook,
Of course.
especially in Harmonious.
And I don't mean to imply it should be, man. Trade is natural. But, caveat emptor, buyer beware.
And at this point, the waiter walks back in with food, and it's all very weird smelling. It's some of it's not even discernible what it might have been from. We're talking like the soup and existence, where it's just like weird bony animal.
Awesome.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being traditional Chinese food and 10 being a traditional whole breakfast, where would this rank?
7?
Fair enough.
Nice.
It's not that it's bad food, it's just that it's
just
completely
super
alien to
weird.
you. And he takes
It's like experiencing Chinese for the very first time. basically.
authentic Chinese for the very first time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to be clear. I love authentic Chinese food, but to Western eyes, it's probably the best example I can give.
We're being thrown headlong into a culture that's very alien to ours.
Exactly. And this is, to be fair, a seedy back alley restaurant.
Yeah.
Whatever health code Rook might have, it doesn't have one at all. It's been thrown out the window anyway. They made one up just to throw it out.
Yeah.
Please, the pang is very good here.
Oh, well, I'll give it a try.
Trent's gonna dig in.
Some sort of like giant woodlouse looking thing, rip its head off. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's obviously been fried
Can
with
I
things
even
instead of
eat?
sauce. No. You're just hovering above a chair.
That's probably why he only ordered 3 plates for us. So, I'm guessing that you already have something in mind for us.
I do, actually.
Cool.
I was following you along to see exactly what you were getting up to and if you needed to be rescued from any trouble.
We've been fortunate so far.
Yes.
Well, maybe you can clear up one thing. Maybe you can clear up something for us. Doctor, show him the slug.
Oh, I'm sure you saw me purchase this.
Yes, you probably shouldn't inject yourself with a nail shack.
No shack, eh?
Pray tell why.
They are carrion eaters. They produce a natural organic acid.
Oh. So disease isn't melting.
Yes.
Cool.
But certain species who either translate into Rook or are cast upon its shores due to our proximity to the dark matter network, they occasionally find it to be a narcotic.
Good to know.
Caveat emptor indeed.
Yeah, man.
Although I can't help but feel that having a ready supply of acid may be useful.
Oh, yeah, man. Buying stuff from weirdos and alleys has never failed me.
Be careful with it, of course, but let's hold on to it.
Let's
for now.
weaponize
I
it
was
and
a
shape it to my
doctor.
body.
That's not a bad idea.
But I digress. Tell us more about this job that you may have for us.
Very well. As you are aware, there are many factions in Rook. There is the Quiet Cabal, my organization, who seek to ensure the security of Rook as a recursion of Earth, to ensure that those things coming from outside of Rook do not damage it, but that the connection is maintained. This occasionally requires a great deal of violence, and so we have been testing out a new model of battle chrysalid. You may have seen them. They are biomechanical armor. It resides within the skin and folds out of it.
Oh, and it inverts the knees to increase leaping power, right?
You have seen one of the Myriand. The Myriand, they are Rook's internal policing force. One of our factions, though they try to ostensibly remain neutral to politics. The reason we cannot deal with this situation directly is that we should not be experimenting with battle chrysalids in the first place.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The Myriand's power in Rook is dependent on the advancement of their battle chrysalids over all others. But as situations continue, we need a higher degree of technology. We were testing out these chrysalids near a area of the city, a district called the Scar. It is damaged, it is a slum, it is the perfect place for black operations, as you say on Earth. However, our squad has not reported in several days. And we believe that another faction, the Karum, who seek to extricate Rook from Earth's orbit to the detriment of both worlds, may be involved. If this is true, then Karum dissidents would have in their hands some of the most powerful battle chrysalids in Rook, which would make them very, very dangerous.
And so you need some plausibly deniable people to stumble into that scenario and free up your friends. And possibly destroy the gear.
Return the gear if you can, but yes, if you must destroy it, destroy it. We can't. This is Rook. We can grow more.
That's a good motto. Well, I mean, it sounds alright to me.
It's the only lead we have, really.
And it's always good to make friends. They've got a very similar aim to ours. Do we recall anything about the estate talking about the Quiet Cabal?
Um,
How does our boss regard these guys?
In briefings, the Quiet Cabal is the one Rookian faction with the most ties to Earth. Generally, their general MO is that they try and keep Rook and Earth not separate, but
like next to each other.
Next to each other, but also at arm's length. They cover up Rookian involvement on Earth.
They're kind of the Rook version of the estate in a lot of ways.
Kind of, yeah. But whereas the estate is more like the FBI's fringe division, the Quiet Cabal is more like Rook's version of MI6.
Nice.
So they are very much more heavy on the espionage and on the shoot first and who the fuck cares about questions.
Yeah.
Whereas the estate likes to investigate and likes to learn.
Gotcha.
The estate is an engine for discovery. The Quiet Cabal is a government secret operation.
Gotcha.
So in other words, Richter's kind of people. More or less.
Well, Richter's a cop. Richter would actually probably more understand the Miriand, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you certainly are experienced with dealing with these kind of people. He takes a small little... It looks almost a bit like the hard drive that you guys have. Mm-hmm. Puts it on the table. This contains the necessary operational documents in it. You can review it at your pleasure. Once you have dealt with the situation, return here, ask to be seated in this room, and order yourself some pang.
It is pretty good, guys. You should try this.
Should we ask him about...
I'll give you the experience later, don't worry.
Should we ask him about our...
That's something
flash
I'm
drive
kind
not
of
a
curious
bad
about.
idea.
If using like these umbilicals and stuff can like
If
caster
it's super immersive
interface
VR,
with-
he can have a archetype of him that probably has taste.
Yeah, but it's how would that translate for you as well? Is that it's...
wow, that tastes like fucking motor oil.
Yeah.
I would think it would be more like Data from Star Trek, where he can like interprets like the.
Well,
This is a sodium balance very similar to braised beef.
yeah, and that's kind of the thing is, unfortunately, even with taste, you'd be appraising it based on mechanical standards.
Yeah.
Because you're in silicon.
Yeah.
You are inside a silicon chip. You're a consciousness, but your consciousness hardwired into a computer.
Yeah. Yeah. So while I would love to figure out how it would taste, I can't. Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Well, maybe you'll translate to something with taste buds another time.
Yeah,
Try
maybe.
it.
Although the running gag of me just getting progressively worse every time.
That says
Record
Record goes ahead and
funny.
has some pang.
Yep.
It is good.
He feels he was suspicious of the guy at first, but if the guy's offering them work, then he probably doesn't want to poison them. So
Nope, it tastes odd. It's up to you whether you find it enjoyable after a while.
I think Fritz loves it.
Anyway, Cam, sorry, you were trying to ask him a question.
Yeah, he handed us that thing. Can we hand him ours and see if...
Let's just ask him if he can undo encryption. If he has
Yes,
access
we
to
can
it.
undo encryption. But, as I have said, a favor for a favor. What is the Earth word? The Earth words you use for it is quid pro quo?
Yeah. All right.
So let's go deal with this then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll scratch your back and then you can scratch ours.
Very good. If you please feel free to finish the meal. I will return and inform my superiors.
All right.
He stands and leaves.
before he
Trent
leaves,
finishes it all.
before he leaves, I just say to him, "What was his name again?"
Toe.
So, I have to admit, by my own standards, you're a very interesting welcoming committee. I look forward to working with you.
This is Rook. Everything is interesting here.
I can't deny that.
So while we eat the meal,
Yep.
Castor, could you put on a show for us? Show us what's on the hard drive, man.
Oh. Can I display it at all, or no? Probably not.
No, I'm going to say sure. You have a flashlight. We'll say your flashlight can act as a projector.
Okay, so what's the deets?
Yeah, it has some pictures of what you assume are battle chrysalids. They don't look like anything you've seen before. They don't even really look human anymore. There are weird attachments. There are things you're pretty sure might be guns.
Yeah.
Is this something pictured in one of the books, or
Yeah, actually, if I pull out that was World's Numberless and Strange, so I want the bestiary. I think there's a section on chrysalids in here. The great thing about this game is that I've got a bunch of books for it that have all sorts of stuff, but at the same time, it's finding the stuff. So it's sort of a combination of that.
Okay.
What page is that for the listeners?
28. It's called a Chalahost. And that is not a battle chrysalid. And that thing in the sidebar.
On sidebar on 20.
Okay. So, kind of a cyborg golem made of nightmares.
Yeah, a biotech golem made of nightmares.
Nightmares and nope.
Yeah.
And
The most
first thing,
ambitious
what'd you say it was
ultralisk
called?
cosplay ever.
With the thing, it's kind of a fusion. Looks like kind of a fusion between that battle chrysalid and a Chalahost.
Chalahost? Okay,
Yeah.
well, the Chalahost looks like a Zerg made of nightmares.
And nope.
And no.
Nightmares with a helpful dash of nope.
Cool.
And you know what? I'm going to call an end to the episode there as you're reviewing the information.
Yeah, we're getting ready to rock
The
it.
Strange Episode 5, Nightmares and Nope. So, yet another investigation begins for our terrible estate agents. Until next episode, I'm Derek the Bard from Chase of the Muse, and I've been your GM for this evening. I'm joined with...
I'm Will Mitchell.
Wes Gunn.
Shane Fitzgerald.
Cameron Dunn.
And, yeah, the Strange is back. And it's just gonna get stranger.
The Terrible Warriors has new episodes every Thursday and every Tuesday, and every Thursday this month is The Strange. So come back in a week's time to see what happens next. And return to us on Tuesday for the first episode in a new campaign for Mutants in Orbit. It's a continuation of our After the Bomb world. We're bringing something from both of the old campaigns together and shooting them into space. As well, on other Tuesdays of the month is Ravenloft Dead by Dawn's Light. Our adventurers are trapped in a castle. The dead are going to drag them down to hell if they can't get out by the morning light. Things aren't looking good. For a complete listing of our release schedule, you can visit us at terriblewarriors.com and click the schedules button. As well, you can be a supporter at patreon.com/terriblewarriors and continue to make this show great. We've got some new rewards, including postcards that we'll be sending out at the end of the month. That's kind of cool. You'll also get access to our exclusive debrief episodes, as well as links to the complete campaign, where we just take the individual episodes and edit them together into one monster file for your all-at-once listening pleasure. Follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors, where you'll see all the updates that I'm mentioning here in the extra. You don't have to listen to me, but just because you did and you made it to the end of this file, I get to say thank you now. I also get to tell you that today's Terrible Warriors were Derek Burrow, Shane Fitzgerald, Wes Gunn, Cameron Dunn, and Will Mitchell. And until we meet again, dear listener, thank you for being a Terrible Warrior.